Good day. Today we're going to be working on a video to create multiple viewports or multiple layouts from a single model drawing. And so we're going to be drawing a small cabin, storage. Could be a storage building, could be a cabin, but it's going to be a small architectural project. And then from there we'll create elevations, and we'll show you how to create multiple layouts from a single view. Along with bringing in a title block. So it might be a two-part video by the time we're done. So the first part is we're going to create this particular drawing along with some elevations, or along with two elevations. So what we're going to do is do our setup process. So the first thing we're going to do is units, and this will be an architectural unit setting, and 1/16 of an inch. Second and third setup are polar and object snap. We're going to set our polar to 5 degrees. Orthogonally, absolute, and object snap. Make sure midpoint and perpendicular are turned on. And lastly, we're going to create some layers. And let's go ahead and add a couple more layers. So this one will be walls. Whoops. So we're going to create 3 layers. Sorry that was up. One called elevation front and the other one called elevation side. And we'll change the color of these. And we may end up creating some dimensions at a later date. Okay, so walls is going to be our current working layer. I just double clicked on it. And we'll close the window. That's now the walls layer. So our cabin is going to be roughly 15 feet by 15 feet. And so we're going to start our drawing. Doesn't matter where we begin it. And I'm going to turn my grid off, because that's always a little bit easier for you to see how things are going. I'll point and shoot, and we're going to point and shoot 15 feet to the right. It's going to go way off the screen. I hit the enter key twice. I'll double click on my wheel mouse, and that will bring up my 15-foot line. And we'll go straight up. We'll go 10 feet, because we're going to have a little bit of a bump in here. And we're going to go 4 feet, and we're going to go another 5 feet straight up. And we'll finish off the walls by connecting them by highlighting the front edge, bring it across, and connect the bottom. So I'll take a snapshot of this. I'm going to throw some dimensions up very quickly so you can see what the values are. Uh-oh. What's the problem with our dimensions? That's right, they're not to scale. So we have to go into dimension style and set that up. So I can go under annotation, choose the dimension style command. We're going to choose modify. Primary units is going to be architectural. The fit, we're going to go ahead and set that to 12, so it's 12 times the original size. We'll see if that works about right. And that's still pretty small, so we're probably going to have to go let's go 36, 3 times larger. And that's better. So that gives you a quick idea. I'm going to do a quick snapshot of the screen here. Okay, so that's our basic structure. We're going to have to create the walls. The walls are going to be 4 inches thick. And so we want to make sure, and what I'll do here is I'll just leave the dimensions up temporarily. I'll edit this so this is correct. So we have a nice gap at each of our dimensions. We'll use the offset command, offset 4 inches, and we'll offset each of the walls in 4 inches. And then we'll use the fillet command, right mouse click, make sure the radius is 0, which it is, and right mouse click again and choose multiple, so that way we can do multiple fillets to clean both the interior and exterior corners, so we get a really nice looking wall. Okay, well, we've got a little bit of a opening here, so what we're going to do is in this 5-foot section we're going to create a door. And so we're going to draw a line that's midpoint. I'm going to draw a little bit long, and we're going to go ahead and offset that. And we're going to offset that 1 foot 6 inches. And so it's going to be a 3-foot wide door, which is the minimum width for entry into a structure. You need to have at least one 3-foot wide door. And we'll trim it up. So we're going to select the outer edges. And then we'll clean up the doorway. Okay, now doors typically have a door swing, and we're going to have the door swing in, because most entry doors have a 3-foot, or excuse me, a door that swings in. So the hinges are going to be located here. We'll swing the door in, and so I want to set a angle, and we'll put a radius in also. So about 200 degrees, and or 200 degree location, we're going to put a 36-inch door in. And you'll notice that the door is, you have to have the right length, and then we're going to use a start, center, end arc. Now arcs are created counterclockwise, so the arc is being drawn in this way. So if that's the case, if the arc is being created counterclockwise, then I need to start with the end of the door. The center point is always the hinge point, and then the end point is the end of the door. And you see how quickly I just created a door arc swing for our door. We'll also put a window in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 windows in, actually. So that's the center mark of the 15-foot. So what I did was just from the midpoint, drew a line, made it long. We're going to go ahead and offset that 5 feet each direction. And then we're going to go ahead and do an offset of 1 foot. And we're going to offset, we're going to have a couple of 2-foot wide windows. And then we'll trim up the window structure. So we'll pick all the verticals. And I'll pick the interior to trim off the tails. Uh-oh. I didn't want to trim that. I wanted to leave that window there. You can right mouse click and choose undo. So if you mess up a trim, you can just right mouse click and choose undo. Since they're not doors, we want to leave the windows in place. We're going to go ahead and delete these. Now you could leave those in place, put them on a centerline layer, and use them to be center marks for the placement of the windows. That will also work. But for a window, we need to draw a line midpoint to midpoint to indicate that there is a window here. And so it's a really quick and easy window to create. It's to show a double hung style window. Okay, so we put a door in, we have a couple of windows, and we'll end up having a roof, a gable roof, going from front to back. So the gable will be on the front and the gable will be on the back. We'll have a roof overhang here. We should probably put a post in here. So let's go ahead and draw a line and find out where the corner is. In that corner, we're going to go ahead and, what I did was highlight the 2 edges. to find that corner. I could use a parent intersection. We're going to go ahead and draw a 4-inch by 4-inch and connect the dots. And so we'll have a 4-inch by 4-inch post that we'll have to support the gable of the roof. Because that's important. We couldn't just overhang this without some type of a support. And you could draw a pad for a porch area, things like that. You can make a wraparound porch, whatever you decide to do in your drawing. Okay, so we've got our basic structure. Now we need to start creating the other drawings. The first thing we're going to do is create the front elevation. So I'm going to flip to the front elevation layer, and we're going to draw a line. We're going to project from this corner down. Well, how far? I'm not too sure yet. Actually, I want to start right there at that corner. There we go. But I want to make sure that we have enough room to create the gable. So I'll come down here towards the bottom. We know that that's 15 foot, so I'll draw a 15-foot line. But I have to make sure that it's straight. Because if you don't, then that's what happens. So I want to make sure that we're level, 15 foot. And that should line up with this end. Okay, the wall height is going to be 8 feet. So we're going to type in 8 feet. And we'll come across. And there's the basic wall. Now, we have the windows. And so the windows, I'm going to go ahead and draw some lines. So all I did there, and I'll explain it on the second one here, is I highlight the edge of the window, bring it straight down, locate the point on my elevation, pick a point, bring it straight down, pick a point. And so all I'm doing is just drawing columns of where the windows should be. That way if you're drawing a 2-story, and all I'm doing is right mouse clicking to get to that line command again. So it's just right mouse click, enter, right mouse click will start the command again. But windows and doors are 7 feet off the ground. The top of the window is typically 7 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and offset 7 feet from the base or the bottom of the elevation. And we'll make our windows 3 feet. So we'll do an offset of 3 feet for the actual window. And then we'll do the fillet command and fillet right mouse click multiple, and we'll pick all the insides. And that's okay because we can come across and draw the lines in. Since we have them, we can project them again and it's easy to draw. So whether we're trimming or filleting, just makes it easy to run through. Yep, hit the undo instead of the actual next fillet. Repeat fillet. And doing a fillet multiple is definitely faster. Okay, so now the big question is, what's the pitch of the roof? Because that's what's going to calculate out how tall our roof will actually be. So let's make this cabin a 612 pitch. So for every lineal foot, it's going to move up 6 inches, and it's a pretty steep roof. So this would be good for snow country or additional storage or a loft area inside the ceiling. So for every 1 foot linear, we go up 6 inches. So basically the calculation is 15 feet divided by 2, or 7.5 feet. So in the center, it should be 7.5 feet tall. for that roof pitch? Well, that would be a 12-12, wouldn't it? Because a 12-12 would be 45 degrees, so that would be 7.5. So we would want to be a quarter of that. Okay. So, you go, if you want, you can go 7.5 times 6. That's 45 inches. And so we should be 45 inches off the top. And so from there, what we'll do is we'll create, as I just did, draw in the actual roof line, but we're not done yet. We've got overhangs to deal with, and we've got a fascia board and so forth. So the next step is to offset the walls out your overhang, which in this case is going to be 12 inches. So we'll offset the walls out 12 inches. And we'll use the extend command from under trim and extend out to the outer walls that same line. So the diagonal line gets extended, and that's your roof overhang. From there, we're going to offset up 6 inches. And that will provide us the ability to have a fascia board. And we'll fillet the top. And we can fillet the fascia board here. You can see how fast this goes with the fillet command, that we're able to clean this up very quickly. Now we don't need the line anymore to show us the height. We now have the height of the roof, and then we've got the actual thickness of the roof trusses. In this case, we'll have the roof itself pre-created with trusses. And so we really don't need this vertical line anymore, but we now have an accurate 6/12 pitch. This gives us an 8-foot line still. We have our basic elevation. So now if I wanted to put brick on this, let's say it was bricked, I'd use the hatch command. But there's a little trick using this hatch command. So we're going to use hatch. We're going to pick architectural brick. So if I hit the down arrow, we're going to find architectural brick. So ARBRSTD, which is architectural standard brick. So I'm going to use architectural standard brick. The key is I want to set an origin point. If you don't set the origin point, then you're going to wind up with like a half a thickness of brick at the bottom. If you set the origin point at the bottom, it will automatically give us a full brick. We'll pick a point inside, and you'll notice that the bottom brick is full. The top brick in this case happens to be full. And then the gable, we're going to go ahead and offset lines to create siding up to the top, and you'll trim those. Alright, so that's one elevation. The second elevation will be created the same way on the right-hand side. So creating the elevation with the door, or the side elevation, the way we do that is very similar, except we're going to draw it on projected off the side view. So again, we're going to go ahead and change the layer to elevation side, and then we're going to project lines from the locations of the walls, and we can come across here to get the overall distance. All I did was highlight. No, I didn't pick anything. I just highlighted that edge. And that's going to be an 8-foot wall. Yep, that was 8 inches. So let's zoom up and delete and recreate the wall. 8 feet. And we can come and highlight, project, and finish. Now we can also project this edge of this wall here. And we can project the doorway. So again, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting the edge, bringing it straight down, left mouse clicking, left mouse click, and then finish the line. Okay, we also know that when we offset 7 feet up, will be the top of the doorway. And so we can use the fillet tool to clean up the doorway. So there's our doorway, there's our wall, but it doesn't look right. Okay. Realistically, we need to create a line the height of the roof. So I could draw this line. So there's 2 ways we could do this. I can, at this point, now that I've projected everything, I can take and rotate this view and then draw that line in and then bring it over, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use the rotate command, window around my side elevation, right mouse click, the base point's going to be at the bottom. I'm going to rotate it so it's 90 degrees. I'll then use the move command, pick move, pick the line that I just drew in to signify the overall roof height. And I'm going to go ahead and move it from the base of that line to the top of the roof. Now, overhang wise, we know that that's the height of the roof. Overhang wise, we know that it comes out 1 foot. So I can draw a line in 1 foot or 12 inches, bring it up to this height, bring it across, and then stop. Notice that I made the line extra long, bring it over 1 foot, bring it straight up. Oh, I actually brought it over 1 foot without drawing the line in. That happens sometimes. And then fillet that corner. Erase the top. And then the only other thing that we have is the post. And so theoretically we can offset the outside wall here in 4 inches. And that'll give us the location of the post out front. So there we have the side view. Now the key is, now that we've created everything, is to use the layout tools to create multiple viewports of all this. So the first layout that we're going to create, and I also mentioned that we'd bring a template in for this. We may not do it on all 3. We may do it on 1 just to show you how that's done. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is the layout. So we're going to click the layout, and you can see what happens. We have our drawing sheet. It's 8.5 by 11. Have the printable area. Have the viewport. Well, the key thing is with the viewport is that I can make the viewport about the same size as the printable area. And that way I can work with it. So what if I had multiple viewports on one page? So if I took this viewport and shrunk it, well, we know that there's 2 other views there, right? Well, we've got 1 viewport. This, by the way, is a C-size sheet, I think. Let's check. Page Setup Manager. Nope, it's 8.5 by 11. So it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I did that by right mouse clicking on the word Layout 1. So inside Layouts, here's what happens. We can create different views. And so I've created a view here, and again, wherever I move this, and this is movable, just like any other object. So I can create one view here. And we can just change the scale. Remember how we do that? Remember the hokey pokey double click in, double click out? We double click in and we can change the scale. Right now our scale is probably somewhere around an 1/8 inch equals a foot. No, actually a little bit bigger. 1/4 inch equals a foot. So a 1/4 inch equals a foot for that scale. And that's perfect. Double click out. So now I can guarantee that this is a 1/4 inch equals a foot scaling, which by the way is about what the text size is designed for. It's a little bit big. It's actually set up for about 3/16 of an inch equals a foot. But I may need to create a second layout now for the front view and a third layout for the right side view. So let's create a layout number 2. So in layout number 2, again, I've got a viewport. Well, what happens if you delete the viewport by accident and it goes away? Under the Layout tab, we've got rectangular viewports. You also have the ability to do polygonal or polygon-based viewports, which is, both of these are great to use. Polygon, if you've got a title block, you can use the polygon as a tool to work around the title block. Rectangular is a good base rectangular viewport. So this time I'm going to double click in. We'll work on the front view. And again, I'm going to go ahead and set this up for a 1/4 inch equals a foot. And there's a 1/4 inch equals a foot. Looks great. Double click out. The key is, remember, double click in, change the scale in the lower right, and then double click out. We need to create a new layout. So instead of layout 1 and layout 2, I need to actually create a brand new layout. And I'm going to create a new layout from a template, and this will bring our title block in. So when we choose new layout from template, it's going to automatically come up with the template, and you can see where it's way buried inside the Autodesk environment. But you can put your own template in here if you want to copy it into the template folder. You could have the Windows Explorer open where your template is, drag and drop it into this folder, so every time it pops up, you've got your template handy. It's a little tip. I happen to know that under History, my template will show up. And so I'm going to choose our template for our class, and we'll choose Open. It's an A size or B size. Well, this one I'm going to make as a B size template, and we'll choose OK. So right now I've got a new layout with an ANSI B size template. Does the template have a viewport? Double click in, double click out, double click in. We should have a viewport. So if I double click in and I zoom out, I should be able to see our drawing. Okay, what scale are we at? I don't know. 1/4 inch equals a foot. Well, a B-size sheet's a little bit better. Maybe I can go up to a 1/2 inch equals a foot. 1/2 inch equals a foot would work if I don't have any dimensions. So realistically, a 1/4 inch equals a foot is probably our best roll here. 1/4 inch equals a foot. Double click in. Why didn't that work? Because I need to reset my 1/4 inch equals a foot. Okay. So in essence, 1/4 inch equals a foot is probably our best move if we add any dimensions. But you can see how easy it is to bring a title block in once you have a template created. Alright, double click out, make sure we're there. When you double click out, you can edit your title block information. When you double click in, you're editing the drawing information. Okay, let's go back to model. So under model, we've got a brick face that we have to put on here. So under home, we'll choose hatch. Under hatch, the brick standard is there. I'll pick a new origin location. So I'll pick my origin here. Actually, I'll pick it in this corner so it starts at the clean corner. Pick my point, and there's my hatch. I can pick another point too, but do I want the brick to actually line up? Probably not. So I'm going to go ahead and say finish that. And what if I needed to do siding? Well, I can use the offset tool to do siding. So I can offset and I can do siding. So an 8-inch lap, so I can go an 8-inch reveal on my siding. And I can do the first one, but then I'm going to trim. So I'm going to trim the line so I don't have to trim every single line. So I'm going to pick the edge, right mouse click, pick the line to trim, and enter. So now I've only got that line. So now I can offset that line 8 inches each time. Now could I have done an array? Yeah, I can. But with lap siding, it doesn't take long to actually do the job. Okay, so now I'll put the trim command in. We'll trim the door out. We'll trim the edge of the board out. And we'll go through and clean the door up first. Oh, the cool thing about trim is that I can use one of these cutting edge windows. I can actually do the same thing here if I'm really, really careful. So now I've got lap siding by the door. And I should put a fascia board on. So we know that this is technically a little bit lower than where it is. Okay, so I should measure the distance from here down to here. That'll become the new board location. I'll probably have to redo my hatch pattern with the brick. But I wanted to make sure that you were aware that the position is now different. So line, and then I can move the line. Okay, so the height of that line now is the new fascia board location. So theoretically, boy, I hate when that happens. So I'm going to use the extend command to extend the 2 lines to it. Use the fillet tool to clean up the edges. Okay, we've got about a 6-inch reveal there already. If I offset yes, that's a 6-inch reveal already. And so what I have to do here is I'll need to delete the brick out and redo the brick. So I need to bring this line down. Just for sight purposes. Just using the grips to edit the lines, and then we'll redo the hatch. And that will look much better. So now we actually have the roof. And if I wanted to put hatch on the roof, we could actually hatch, I believe they have shakes, roof shakes. So you could actually hatch a roof shake if you choose to. Just something different. Okay. But now the point is that all the edits that I made there in the model automatically update in the layout. So even though we've created 3 separate layouts, we can plot all these at once and work with these. So if we go, we'll save our work here, and then we'll go ahead and plot. So we've saved our work, and we can go to print or plot. And under print and plot, we've got a feature here called batch plot. So if I want to print multiple layout tabs at once, I can use the batch plot tool. And so what it will ask me to do is, what do you want to print? Okay. Sheet list, none. Plotter name and page setup tells me where they're going to be printed. I can select the items, hold the control key down. I can add sheets, delete sheets, move sheets up in structure, choose the number of copies that I want to make. If there's a plot stamp for date and time, that'll work. And I can choose publish. So I can save the sheets. So it's processing in the background at this point. So it's basically, I just published and saved those sheets out. I can also batch plot and make it a PDF file. So the first time it saved it as a multi-plot batch file. This time I can save it as a PDF file. So I'm going to publish to a PDF. I'm going to select the 3 layouts that I want to print and choose publish. It's going to ask me what to save it. It's going to save it as a PDF. And so when I open up the PDF file, it's got all 4 sheets. So it's selected all 4. And they are to the scaling factor that we selected. And so it makes it fairly easy to do and manage when you're working with this. That's about all from here. The key is to practice with making multiple layouts, being able to control layouts with viewports and scaling, and then output to a sheet set like a PDF package. Have a great day.